But no, so let's
Uh,
let's talk about the other side of that though, real quick. The Nets.
if
So
if you're the Nets, would you rather Bridges and Johnson, or would you rather have Aiton come back in that deal?
I mean, probably Bridges and Johnson. And my reason being is because they ain't got nobody over there now. They need pieces. And so two is better than one. And I think both of those guys are really good. And DeAndre Ayton, I mean, I think he's a great player. He's got some health concerns. And he's a big. I mean, you never know how long bigs are going to be able to play. That's just part of it. We see that with, I mean, KP's playing healthy now, but we've seen him get hurt just because that's the nature of being a 7 footer. So Aiton makes me a little bit nervous. So I think I would rather the two guards, but I just don't understand. I mean, I do understand, I guess. Brooklyn is just saying we're done this season because they didn't end up moving any other guards, and it's basically a team full of guards and wings at this point.
Yeah, they've
And
got they've got like seven wings.
yeah, so
Johnson, Bridges, Harris, Simmons, if you want to call him a wing.
yeah,
Um,
but they do have a ton of assets and a ton of picks from
they do,
this.
they
So their
do.
future is a little bright,
They
but
still owe a
you
ton of picks to Houston though too.
let me see. I think I saved this.
Oh yeah, I saved something too on that with like what they turned, what they had versus what they have now. And it's the Brooklyn Nets have turned Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving into Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, 7 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and a 2028 pick swap.
I mean, that is a lot. That is a lot.
It's a lot. Well, I guess we should replace Jay Crowder
Crowder
with
with
two
three
with
second round picks.
three second round picks. Yeah.
Yeah. I did find what I was wanting to find. So, uh, the Nets were 17-2 in the last 19 games that Kevin Durant played, and they also are the owners of the longest winning streak this season.
Yep.
And now that's what they have.
Yeah. So KD and Kyrie in 4 years played 71 games together.
And they only ended
KD,
up getting like 40, not even with Harden in there.
the three of them played 16 games together,
16, that's right.
and
Oh
they
my
were they
gosh.
were 13-3 in those 16. It's
So
just
it
wild.
really it all boils down to the front office of the Nets. That's why, yeah, you guys got a lot of assets, but I don't know how comfortable I'd be with that because they just fucked it all up, to be honest. It all boiled down to Kyrie had stipulations apparently in his contract about having to win like a championship in order to get like a certain something or another. I don't know the exact
I mean,
details,
guys have shit like that in their contracts all the time.
but they were
What
being a little bit ridiculous about it, and
the
Kyrie wasn't down with that. And then apparently they had told KD in the summer when they ended up not doing anything with him that if anything ended up going south during the season, we would deal you. That's what I found out now after the fact. And so that's why I think they were able to keep it so quiet was because they already kind of knew. And so it was just about doing it. And
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame the Nets in any of this. Like they did what every other team in the league would have done. There's not a team in the league that if KD and Kyrie came to you and said, "Hey, we want to come here," every single team in the league like, "Okay, what do we have to do? Who do we have to get rid of?
but it changed
How do
from
we
what do
have
we
to
have to
gut
do
how do we
when
have
it
to
when it
gut this
started.
roster to get enough cap space to get these guys? What do we have to do to get two of the top 15 players in the NBA on this roster? Like
And
everybody would have done the exact same thing.
definitely, I don't argue with that. And they did that. But then once they were here and it ended up becoming how long are we going to be able to keep them here? They decided they're not willing to do whatever it takes to keep them.
I
And
mean,
that's where they messed up.
what more were they supposed to do? Kyrie didn't want to play basketball. James Harden just got there, bullied his way to get there, and then Kyrie being such a weirdo after Durant got hurt, and Harden's looking around like, do I really want to hitch my wagon to this guy over here that's not playing basketball because he didn't want to get vaccinated? Which that's fine if that's what you want to do, Kyrie, but it's hard to count on you whenever you disappear for 2 weeks for whatever reason. I don't even remember what the reason was. He disappeared for 2 weeks, didn't tell anybody where he was or what he was doing, just that he couldn't play basketball for 2 weeks at one point. I think that was the first season. And the second season they had the vaccine thing. And then he's had some injuries along the way. Like, the guy barely played.
True.
He played in, like, I think it was less than 50% of the possible games that he could have been, that he was eligible to play in for the Nets.
Yeah, but there's,
Like,
I mean,
do
that
you
is
really
true.
want to sign to a long-term contract to that guy?
Well,
I know
yeah,
he's a
I
Mav
mean,
now, so you have to defend him, but
well, no, I mean, I would argue that, yeah, I mean, if you're all in and you want to win and you're one of the better teams in the East right now, and that's your take, yeah, you do. You extend him, you sign him, you do what he wants because you're willing to get that championship. You got to be all in at some point.
I mean, I think they were all in.
Apparently not, or else
They were already all in. But
apparently not, or Kyrie and KD would both still be there.
if
If it
I
really
think
was Kyrie literally was like, I am not playing for you, it doesn't matter what the fuck you do, yeah, that sucks. And that could have been what it was. I don't know. But if I'm in the front office of Brooklyn Nets, I feel like I failed.
I think they were playing hardball with him, and the reason that they felt like they could do that is this summer, if you remember, Kyrie could have been a free agent. He could have been a free agent this past summer.
True.
And the Nets basically said, like, go find a deal. Go find a deal. And he ended up opting in. If there was any other team that would have given him max money, do you think he opts in? No. I don't think so. But there was nobody willing to offer him max money.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. You could definitely argue both ways. I honestly, I really do believe that. I just, like I said, if it was me, I would feel like I kind of fucked up because, like I said, they were a really good basketball team this year.
Yeah,
Like
I
when
don't
they
know.
were all healthy and all on the court, that was a good basketball team. So
I mean, they absolutely were. And I just feel like if the Nets front office, like, they bent over backwards and did everything those guys wanted them to do. Like, you want us, you really want us to give 40 million to DeAndre Jordan? Okay. You want us to trade Jared Allen so that DeAndre Jordan can play more? He's not very good, right? Okay, that's what you want to do. Let's do it. You want us to fire the coach that has turned things around for us and is one of the reasons why you wanted to come here? Okay. You want to hire Steve Nash? Okay. You want to fire Steve Nash? Okay. You want to trade for James Harden? All right, we'll do that.
yeah,
Like,
and
I don't know
look where it got
what
them.
more they're supposed to do. I don't know what more the front office is supposed to do.
Everything
Outside
that
of
you
just
just
tell them
said,
no.
everything that you just said got them to where they were one of the best teams in the East right now before all this went down. So yeah, I mean that's
It
what
could
you
have
have
been a
to
lot
do.
better. If
It could
it
have.
could have been a lot better without Katie and Kyrie. Mostly it feels like Kyrie demanding all this other shit.
It does kind of seem like that. I agree.
Because they
I can't
didn't
argue with
have
that.
they didn't have to do the DeAndre Jordan. They didn't have to trade so many guys to get, like, they could have done different things to have more of a full roster that first couple of seasons, where they may have won a title if they had a more full roster, because that
Well,
roster was very, very shallow the first couple of years.
well, and then it boils down to the front office kind of failed by letting Katie and Kyrie run everything. I mean,
Every other front office would have done the same thing. I mean, look at
I
LA
know.
with LeBron.
Ooh, I don't even want to get into that.
I mean, we'll have to here in a second,
Yeah, we're gonna have to, but
every front office in the league, your superstar comes to you and says, "Hey, we're doing this." Guess what? You're doing that. That's just
yeah,
how
for
it
the most
is.
part. Yeah, for the most part, you're right. Especially one that you brought in, like we brought you here so that we told you we would do these things for you if we
Right.
brought you here. You're right. It's different than being the superstar on the team that drafted you.
Yeah. Not everybody can have a Tim Duncan or a Steph Curry who just kind of says, you know what? It's not my job to build the roster. You guys do that.
Dirk.
That's one of the things
Throw Dirk
that
out there.
makes those Dirk too. It's one of the things that makes those guys great is as far as building around, because you as a front office, you know that they're not going to demand things from you. They're not going to say, hey, you got to pay my buddy who's worth a league minimum. You got to pay him 10 million a year.
Yeah, see, Dirk straight took pay cuts to
Yeah.
make the roster better. So yeah, there's different guys out there for sure. Now the hard part is KD and Kyrie are both top 10 players in the world, arguably.
Talent wise, yeah.
Yeah, talent. Well, yeah, exactly. And so they get away with a little bit more, I guess. I,
Yeah.
I
As much
it's
as
tough because, like
like
you said,
I
he's a
don't
Mav
want
now, so it's hard for me.
yeah, I don't want people to think that I don't like Kyrie, or that I'm always bashing on Kyrie, or that I don't like or think that he's a good basketball player. Kyrie doing Kyrie things on a basketball court is poetry in motion. He is one of the smoothest, just most beautiful basketball players I have ever seen in my life. The guy has a handle that just nobody else in the world has. He plays in such a beautiful, fluid style of basketball. He can shoot, he can dribble. When he's really engaged, he can defend. Like, he can be a top 5 player in the NBA when he really wants to, and it's
True.
beautiful, beautiful to watch. I just want to say that because I know I talk a lot of shit with Kyrie. It's
Yeah.
just that
And
he's
one thing
such a
I actually
damn weirdo.
noticed watching the other I mean, that is true. But watching the other night, one thing that he's really good at that I think is probably a little bit underrated of him is moving without the ball too. Like just
Yes.
like Steph Curry is one of the best without the ball, like Kyrie, I don't know if you saw his first bucket with the Mavs, but he had to make like a little shimmy to get open and then hit the jump shot. And so
He's an
that's where I
incredibly intelligent basketball player.
that's where I think him and Luca are actually going to be really good together because Luca's going to be able to get him those passes and those open looks when he shimmies off some dude and stuff. And like, oh
Yeah.
man, it was
It,
exciting.
it'll work as long as Luca sacrifices a little bit of the on-ball stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's going to have to happen. But Kyrie also is willing to sacrifice some of the on ball stuff. So I think it will work. And I'm excited
Yeah.
for it.
All right. Before we